Hi there! This is Arvin Diaz, your host for the Philo Talks, the podcast show in the internet. Pawok? Ano ba ang nangyayari sa bansa natin ngayon? Si Duterte naman o masyadong hindi marunong mag-ingat sa mga sinasabi niya? Well, woke culture is one of the famous concepts in the Generation Z and Millennials. So I can say that this culture is a very good culture for me because it has been a call out to the injustices of this society. Well, it is by woke culture that made the Philippines included in the progressive and liberal sphere in our world today. So what is being woke or woke culture? According to Oxford Language Dictionary, being woke is to be alert to the injustices in the society, especially racism. So what is happening around the world is, for example, protesting against the racist issues in the border of George Floyd and also removing Confederate statues around the US and also removing the statues of the colonizers. Well, all I can say is that woke is not only with those we perceive as destroying statues, but also woke is being aware of what is happening in our society, especially when it is related to social injustices. We are also in favor of the poor, the women, and to those who belong to the different identities who are not part of this mainstream society. Well, all I can say that being woke is helping others to see the mistakes of the system and also how to correct it. And we become vocal to those injustices and oppression most of the marginalized sectors face. And being pa-woke or woke have many positive aspects with that as well. So especially the millennials and Gen Z, we post in the Facebook and any social media outlets about what is happening around the country. And we become compassionate towards those who are in the poor sectors. For example, we have already been considered that poverty is not only by the matter of choice, but also by the matter of the system, especially in the structures of the society that made them live in poverty. For example, the quote or kasabihan na check your privilege, it had already been vocal or been known. This quote had already been known into the current society and also in the current social media outlets. And you can say that check your privilege, which means that we have to become aware of this privilege that we have in which not all of the people share with us. For example, our right to education. Not all people are blessed and lucky with having that education because poverty or also the structures and experience they faced were products of their miseducation or lack of education. And being pawok also opens us to the discrimination which the marginalized sectors of the society faced. For example, what I can say to the LGBT people or its members is that we have almost accepted them as part of our society. We welcome them as contributors of our economy and also our welfare. And I already noticed that we have already been accepting of their relationships. Though I do not say that all of the society in the Philippines have already accepted their relationships, but we have been open to them. Also, we have already accepted the fact that we cannot share only the notion of relationship in a heteronormative sense. So in the LGBT side, we have already been giving them opportunities or education or jobs that maximize their talents and also other opportunities in the social practices of our country and the government policies. So, and the woke culture made us open to the concept of rape culture and also the clothes are not the factor towards the rape or sexual harassment. And it is only the rapist who has the motivation or who is the culprit and responsible for the sexual misconduct. So I can say that we have already been given the opportunity to change the idea of women, not as of Maria Clara, but as a strong and independent woman who is capable of contributing and also making the choices and be responsible towards the choices that they made. So what are the bad sides or bad effects or side effects of woke culture? Well, it is normal for us as human beings to make mistakes. And woke culture had already been given the toxic face or its toxic form is its judgmental characteristics and also its overrighteous or self-righteous tendencies of those who are engaging it. Well, to be honest, I have also been part of being a self-righteous and also judging people, those who don't agree with my views. And it was only during this time when I realized that I do have some toxic behavior and toxic attitudes. And to be honest, woke culture has already been made as a positive force in the society. but it also gave us the tendency to misjudge and also not to see everything objectively. For example, J.K. Rowling in the UK was known for being the author of Harry Potter books. When she made a comment that seems offensive to those who are in the transgender and transsexual identities, she received a backlash or her reputation had been disturbed because of what she made. And most of us considered when they did or say some things to be offensive towards the marginalized sector, we have already identified them as homophobic, transphobic, racist, or what. Woke culture also tends us to become excluding towards the people or those who don't we disagree with. And I am also been guilty of it when I shut or I backfire or do not engage with dialogue those people who I disagree with. And to be honest, if me as a person who values free speech and also tolerance, then I should also extend tolerance to those whom I deep disagree with or did offensive. For me, excluding those people whom we think as offensive is also a form of, in the Middle Ages, what we called as an excommunication or shaming. Because in the Middle Ages, it is known or it is widely known that the practice of excluding those whom they seem as contrary to what their society thinks is a thing not to be included and also to be deemed as inferior, as either or something that is very unwelcoming to them. And we become inclusive and accepting of differences and different identities in our society. We must learn to extend as much as we can those people whom we considered as offensive. Though I do not say that they should not become accountable or their responsibility of their mistakes should be overlooked. All I can say that they should be held accountable toward their mistakes, but help them to improve themselves. And lastly, what I can disagree with the woke culture is the concept of chatting or disengaging in dialogue. And as postmodern philosophy is all about dialogues with different narratives or different philosophies or ideologies, it is important for us to help them see their mistakes by engaging in dialogue with them and not shutting them or feel that they are something to be excluded for. And engaging in dialogue in order to correct their mistakes is the best way to consider yourself as liberal, enlightened, and progressive. So what made liberalism superior from any ideologies and philosophies is its inclusive character. And if we shut the discourse and also did not give them the opportunity for dialogue, then we have already become guilty of being dictators or suppressors of free speech. So I can say that I have already been not perfect or becoming good practitioner of this engaging with dialogues, but I can say that the woke culture in its negative side will have to be critiqued. So my message for millennials and Gen Z, it is not wrong or it is not right that being woke is we have to fight for society alone. What I mean is being woke is also right in itself, and it is wrong when you shut the discourses and you become judgmental and tend not to become compassionate towards those whom we deemed as offensive, or we become not giving or not tolerant to those whom we disagree with. And we need to develop the compassionate and forgiving attitude in which the liberals were known for. And that's all. Goodbye and have a good day.